listen, I know last episode we said we wasn't gonna get political, but it's moments like this that we need that needs addressing. So what happened? Wednesday, Russia invaded Ukraine according to NATO. This came shortly after Putin announced that he decided to conduct a special military operation said to protect the eastern region of Donbas in Ukraine. Now, though Putin previously stated that his plans were not to include the occupation of Ukraine, CBS News correspondents also reported hearing loud blasts. I mean, we've seen the videos, we've seen the pictures. Putin calls this the denazification of Ukraine, claims that Ukraine is trying to start a genocide and start war with Russia.
A genocide, like getting rid of what? White people? I'm confused.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
so Ukraine is trying to get rid of people that's in Russia, or trying to kill the Russians in Ukraine.
He thinks that Ukraine is trying to, outdo Russia or whatever the case is. Something to the lines of that, and they said that there's many Nazis. I'm like, what's going on? This is really bad. Many Ukrainian citizens lost their lives. People had to flee the country. And this could potentially start a World War III. And I'm sorry for the person outside with their damn car. Thank you. Anyway, and I wanted to talk to you about this because I know that you're very into politics, and you have and I'm gonna be a real bitch. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and talk about all this stuff that I act like I know what's going on. When I just want to have the space to talk about what really is happening with these nations, and get into what people are talking about also, because there's a lot of people saying, oh, well, should America get involved? They need to mind their business. What is the reason for all of this? No.
Yeah. So the real answer is, girl, I don't fucking know. We don't know what these people, we don't know what these folks' motivations are or what they do. Sometimes, like, if we were supposed to know, we were supposed to know. But I can tell you what I think. And based off of what I do know about Ukraine, in that region of the world, Russia and Ukraine are responsible for 30% of the energy in that region. And Ukraine has all the pipelines. So it's appearing as though, regardless of what he's saying it's about, because it's like there's no proof that people in Ukraine, like, they're killing Russians or putting them in camps, or like that. There's no evidence of that, right? So he's just saying it. And he has state-run media, kind of like China. So the people in Russia the only information that they're allowed to get is from their government. And so they believe what he said. Like, oh my God, they're doing that over there in Ukraine. Like, yeah, we stand behind you, blah, blah, blah. But Ukraine's like, bitch, he's lying. Wait a minute. That's not what's happening. Like, Ukraine is a sovereign nation. They're a sovereign democratic nation. And so part of them breaking off from the Soviet Union or USSR, they had to denuclearize. They had to give up their nuclear weapons that were left there by USSR. And so it kind of leaves them in a vulnerable state, right? So if we have a neighbor next door that's bigger than us who said they want our territory, who is a nuclear power, what are you really going to do to stop them? And Russia's like, we want it. We want that land, because if I get that land, we're rebuilding the Soviet Union. And we're also taking power over that resource, which means more money for Russia, which allows them to, maintain their space in the big three, as far as Russia, China, and America. Now, as far as what it means for Americans, the first round of sanctions have already gone on exports to Russia. During this war, because Russia has declared war in Ukraine, the resources that we get from that area, they may be more taxed, or because Russia is literally bombing their factories, and bombing their airports, and bombing the places where they do their energy generation. Like, it's going to cost us more to get it, because now that he's taking it out, right? So we could see inflation. Of course, we're going to see gas prices go up. We may see technology fees go up here in America. But
technology fee? Like, we mean technology fee?
Like in technology, and all this stuff that we use requires certain types of energy sources, like lithium batteries, and all that other stuff. Like some of those things come from the Ukraine. Like it's a collaborative effort. Like, yeah, we always say the world was made in China, but all the pieces come together for us on a global scale, for us to be able to enjoy some of the privileges that we have and the luxuries that we have in America. So for us, it may affect our pockets if we do in fact have to go to war. Now, where we are right now, I had to explain this to my friends yesterday. They were like, Putin doesn't care about y'all doing these damn sanctions. Like, he gonna just go in there and take and do whatever he wants. And I was like, yeah, that's true. That could be true. But the Geneva Convention is very clear about their rules of engagement when it comes to war. And NATO is under contract and how they operate together as allies for these sovereign countries who find themselves in crisis or being invaded. And so the first course of action is to do sanctions, and you sanction the government, and you sanction their financial sources. So the oligarchs, the political players, major corporations in Russia have been sanctioned, as well as some of the like I said, corporations, and of course the sanctions include there being a ban on exports from Russia into the country, which means that it cuts off their money from not just us, but from shipping things out to the allies as well. So that the goal is to me hurt your pockets first. I was watching CNN the other night. They were like, why are they waiting to sanction him? Like they could literally just sanction Putin. But I don't think that's going to be effective either. So the next round is to increase the sanctions.
Okay.
So that it affects the natural resources in Russia specifically. And that means that now we are going to limit your imports, right? We're going to limit the import of foods. We're going to limit the import of textiles, which could potentially, make the people of Russia demand that Putin stop this war, or stop engaging this way, because it's hurting the people of Russia. But on the other side, it's like, okay, well, the Ukraine has a large source of like potatoes. Like they have certain crops that they have there. So Putin very well could be like, bitch, y'all ain't got to send us no food. We can eat mashed potatoes for the next 3 months. We're going to take this land. I want it. We're going to take it. You know what I mean?
Mashed potatoes for the next 6 months, child.
Right. But as far as the people in the U.S., should we mind our business? Listen, it's Black History Month. Okay, I'm gonna mind my black ass business.
Well,
for the next few days.
Yeah.
But this is white on white crime, guys. And this has been going on for a long time. Okay.
Well, I mean, in the sense, not us, the American people, should mind our business. I'm saying, should America not get involved?
We don't really have a choice. The goal is to always not to go into war. Biden has been very clear that he does not want this to escalate, because if America gets involved, there is going to be bloodshed. It will be all-out war.
Yeah.
And he said they weren't going to send any troops over there, but they deployed 7,000 troops yesterday to assist the people of Ukraine who are trying to flee the country, or sending medical troops over there to aid them, those who may have been affected. But I'm going to tell you this because it's the history of our country. All it takes is for one American soldier. All it takes is one American soldier to be caught in the crossfires of this invasion, to be lost, and America will strike back, and will strike with force. That is our history. That's our culture. Because yes, we don't want to go to war with you, but we do have to be there for our allies. Like the Ukraine is an ally.
Now the Ukraine they're not a part of NATO, right? Because from my understanding, they said the reason why they're not upwardly like, okay, let's go to war, is because Ukraine is not officially a part of NATO.
Right.
Now, the moment Putin invades a country that is a part of NATO, that's when the war will start.
Right. So it's not really just an invasion. Putin said that, kind of basically like, y'all need to mind your business. But if you get involved, I will retaliate. And that means, okay, well, if France gets involved, or if everybody's doing sanctions, right? But if we do decide to deploy, any of them decide to deploy troops into Ukraine, and their soldiers are killed based off of this action that Russia's got going on, that is when NATO becomes involved. The reason they are the reason they're assisting Ukraine is because Ukraine is a democratic country. And so NATO's job, or the whole reason for having NATO and the G7, well, not really the G7, because some of them are dictatorships and authoritative, but of NATO is to protect democracy, right? And America, we're the police. We're the world police.
It's not the world
so
police.
We're the world police. We're the most nuclear armed. We have the most troops. So if while we're trying to help this country, this smaller country who is democratic, who's called on us for help, if while we're helping them and you harm our people, we are going to retaliate. And then Russia and Putin was like, and that's fine. And then I'm going to retaliate. And that's how you get a world war, because now everybody has something to gain and something to lose. Yeah. Right. The difference is, do we want to go to war with Russia? Because if Russia goes into war, their ally that they would pull in would be China.
It's China. And we don't want to fuck with China.
So it's like America. I mean, because if China calls in, if it gets to this place and China calls in American debt, like, bitch, we're done. Like, we are.
We mean calling America. I mean, what could potentially happen?
So when people, when they talk about the deficit, what the deficit is? Okay. So the House of Representatives, our Senates, their job is to create bills. And yes, the bills have nice words. Sometimes we have laws, but we're talking about bills. Like, they literally manage the world. They manage a budget, like our spending budget, based off of our imports, our GDP, like the other projections, and they create the bills on how we spend this money, and finding new ways for us to get money into the country. China is one of the countries that we've borrowed from, that we're in debt to, right? So I think we only have like a limited amount of gold left here in the country, because we don't really operate on the gold standard anymore. We operate on credit, and our credit is given to us based off import-export tax with countries like China. So if China be like, okay, well, y'all trying to retaliate against Russia, our good girlfriend, all right, then how about this? We're gonna stop doing our imports to the U.S. And we're gonna call in our debt, which could virtually bankrupt America. Like, we get nervous when it's like, oh, we're gonna hit the deadline, and we're gonna have a government shutdown. Like, no, bitch, the country is shut down. Like, the country's closed. Okay, China said good night.
I'm not trying to say good night, honey. Okay.
All right, and the only way that we be able to get out of here is if we fight our way out, and that means all out war. We don't want this. Like, it's fun. It's like the memes and things like that on social media. They're funny, and I think that's a coping mechanism. That's how we, get through things when it's tough or chaotic. We just try to laugh our way through it. But the reality is, this could go really bad. And I mean, after this past decade has just been one thing after another. I'm like, damn, we got the coronavirus. We survived through Trump. You got George Floyd, and you got the border invasion, and you got all this stuff. The Queen may be dying. I mean, it's too much. It's giving very much. This is the last chapter.
Don't look up. Oh, let me stop.
Right. It's giving, right. I'm just like, child, bring on the aliens, because that's the only thing we're missing.
I'll bring on the aliens. If I know one thing, look, if I see somebody take me with you, let me go.
Well, I do believe that if we are in the middle, if this does escalate, that we will start seeing unidentified flying objects more. But UFOs don't always mean,
it doesn't always mean extraterrestrial.
But yeah, UFO just means an unidentified flying object, and that could be spacecraft that's being tested in different countries, which we all know is being built. We have a space force here in America. The goal is to go out and voyage into that space and take ownership of it and things like that. So yeah, I just feel like this could go really, really bad. So I've been watching it kind of closely, even though I don't care. Like, I feel like I want to focus on my own stuff. Like, if the world gonna end, let me end it on my note. Okay, let me get my album out. Okay, let me get y'all some travel bags, so when y'all flee in these countries, you have something you can.
Honey, I'm going to Canada.
It's time to go to Africa, honey, because Africa got real quiet.
You say Africa got real quiet? Africa left the chat?
They were like, oh, this is ghetto.
Oh, that's going on? Okay.
This is ghetto.
Happy Black History.
Happy Black History Month, niggas.
It ain't over.
It ain't over
until Monday.
But we'll see what we'll see how this moves. I just pray to God, like, Lord. I only voted for Joe Biden because I couldn't vote for Trump.
Yeah.
But at a war, do we really want, Lord?
I think we don't want a war.
We don't want it.
I mean, look at our track record. I mean, yeah, we had some not the fireplaces up over at your place. Child,
the world is busy. We need Obama back. Obama would have pushed that button and we'd have been done. Obama used to chin check fucking Putin. He would look at him like,
not chin check.
What's gooey?
No, I didn't know about because I was still young.
Obama would have been on a plane, honey. Obama would have been on a plane over there. Like, now we have these peace talks. What's good? Because my homegirls is telling me that you still got people on the border. I'm trying to tell you right now, I ain't gonna be doing all this back and forth. They can impose the sanctions, but dude, let me tell you, there's gonna be bombs over Baghdad, and I don't think that, even though we feared that Trump would be trigger happy, we also knew that there was ties with him in Russia. So it's like, of course, we wouldn't go to war with Russia. He'd probably just sit there and let him like, yeah, we're gonna send thoughts and prayers to the people of Ukraine. Well, what's next?
Now we're gonna send thoughts and prayers.
So for the people in America
Trump said that he would have never went through with it if I was in office. I'm like, you think you got so much ownership over this friendship that you got with little Putin, child? He puppet mastering your ass. Okay.
We're gonna see what happens. I just know in 2024 when Trump run again, this is definitely gonna be a talking point about the relationship with Russia.
The way you handled Ukraine in that situation. Oh, but I can hear right now.
The Afghanistan removal, like all of that. I
would have never did that. Yeah.
Of course you wouldn't have, nigga. You would have been somewhere eating Wendy's. Okay.
Many words about it. They call this great.
So just pray for the people in Ukraine.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay vigilant. Focus on your focus. The world ends every day for someone. So. And I'm not making light of the situation that's happening. I know that there are lives, many, many lives at stake. But as an American, I think that, we do have compassion for other countries. But sometimes I feel like our attention gets averted. Our heart gets averted to spaces and things that really we should leave to our government to deal with and to have the onus on. Like, y'all go take care of business. And while y'all take care of business, this is what's going on at home. This is what's happening in our communities. This is what's happening here. And you have to take care of your house first. Okay. Yes, we want other democratic countries to get to the place where they can be sovereign and run their countries like we do. But, right now it's big bank take a little bank. And
not big bank take a little bank. Okay.
Yeah. How dare America get involved? Our whole founding was based off of white people coming over here saying, oh, well, I discovered this land that people already here on. I'm gonna take it. And then getting in bed with other countries like Spain and France to buy and sell off the rest of the land. So y'all know, our forefathers were no better than Vladimir Putin. I think the only difference is that his playbook he's using right now is very Hitler-ish. Yeah. Hitler did the same thing in Germany when he was trying to expand. And
that's what this is. He's trying to expand Russia.
Right. While also, I'm doing the peace talks, running the circuit. Yeah.
Yeah, and he called we're the peacemakers. It's like,
and while they're doing that, he already got troops on the ground being like, go in there and take this, and this. I'll distract them with this. Y'all go in there and take what the fuck we came for. And Putin is operating the same way. So it is very, it's unsettling. And I've always said it, life is cyclical. History always repeats itself. We have not learned the lesson. So, I'm not president of the United States. I think that within my first 90 days in office, I would have, I'm Aries. So I probably would have blew their ass up anyway. I'd have been like, damn, he just got here. He in war. That's right. What was you saying? Boom. Drop the bombs on him.
Not we bombing Russia. Russia is closer than you think to us. So
that's fine. So Sarah Palin can see it from her house.
So I'm just saying they got bombs too. So it's like, the whole thing of bombing this, bombing that. Like we hope that it won't get to that point.
But if it does, we got them.
Everybody
got the bombs.
Everybody got buttons to push.
Push the button.
You want this to be a damn radiation world?
Push the button.
Hell.
Kanye done already gave us 3 collections, so we'll have stuff to wear.
Not push the button, child. No, don't push the damn button, child. And I love how there's a lot of people that were like anti-war protesters that were there. I was like, oh, I mean, good luck, but you know, we love y'all doing the good work. Okay, peace.
Lord help. Yeah,
it's not Lord help.
That's good. That's good for the people that want to. I mean, yeah, people care about things they care about. I don't foresee it escalating that far, but if it does, like, we just have to be ready and prepare to face a new world. And I'm just saying, like, what a time to be alive, to be a generation that that is able to witness in real time through to our interconnectedness with the internet and social media and world media, telecommunications, that we're able to see with our own eyes the atrocities that we've heard about, that we were taught about happening over again. What a time to be alive. So I always just tell people, like, I'm like a roach. I'm a survive, period. So COVID, war, famine, disease, fires, earthquakes, I'm living until it's time for me to get out of here. So
on that note, let's get back to the mess.